very dark manner. I couldn't carry the pain and anguish that I felt anymore. I rode my bike around and I seen Derek. I can take my anger out on him.
I don't think it...
I strangled him. I hit him over the head with a rock numerous times and poured Kool-Aid on him. And I became the bully that I hated in school.
What's up, everybody? Back at you with another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Make sure you hit that notification button, hit that like button, share the video. And this is probably a video that people are going to want to comment on. So make sure you leave a comment. I promise to respond. You know, some people might not want to comment. Some people might watch this video and be filled with sadness, filled with tears. And you know, the mission of the show is to save kids from life imprisonment and premature death in the streets, right? The mission is for people to start to think. Think about things before you do them. We're going to get into that video. But just before we do, check out the book, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. You can find it at freedomfighterspc101@gmail.com. Unfortunately, there's a lot of violence in that book, but that's because that's the life that we lived in federal prison. In maximum security federal prisons, violence is part of the day, unfortunately. I promise you, if you grab that book, you will not be disappointed. So today's video, I promised everybody I'd be putting out this video about a kid that I've had some personal experiences with. It's crazy that I was locked in a kid's home with this kid once upon a time. You know, we're from the same area. This is a vicious, brutal crime. And like I said, it's going to hurt some people's feelings. It hurt my feelings. And I remember when it happened. I see pictures in my mind when this happened. It was on the news. And I remember being a young boy at that time thinking, wow, this stuff's going on. This is what they're doing. It's just horrible. But never in my mind did I think it would be some little kid that looked like Dennis the Menace. You know, this is him that would commit such a crime. I thought it was an adult. It scared me. I was like, wow, this is going on? No way. I think I was 14. Maybe I was 14 or getting ready to turn 15. August 1993. I'll figure it out, right? August 2nd, 1993. This kid's from where I'm from my area. I'm from Rochester. He's from Savona, one county away. But when you get in trouble when you're a kid, they used to take us to these kid places, right? Westfall Road. It was a detention center. Anybody from Rochester might have been on Westfall Road. You could weigh in on the comments. It was like a jail for kids. I was in there as a kid, stole some cookies, and ended up doing 2 years in a kid's home for stealing a pack of Fig Newtons. But Eric Smith, on the other hand, he ended up in this place for murder. He was a kid that killed another kid. He was a 13-year-old kid that killed a little 4-year-old boy. To me, when you look at the facts, it was a calculated killing. It was a killing that, like I said, is just shocking. Shocked everybody. Probably scared other kids, scared parents. And now that I'm going to be a father to 2 little boys, I can only imagine, you know, what it would be like for a 4-year-old little boy to be at his little campground. I think they were in a camp, and Eric lures him into the woods. Like I said, this is sad. It's a sad story. Eric lures this little boy into the woods, Derek Roby, and he takes him out in the woods and he beats him with a rock. Beats him in the head with a rock and kills him. 13-year-old, 4-year-old. This little boy went out in the woods with Eric probably because he thought, he's a big boy. He's someone he looked up to. We're going to hang out and have fun. Maybe we're going to throw the ball around or kick the soccer ball. throw a baseball. But not on August 2nd. That was the day when this little boy, and it does bother me. He goes out in the woods with this kid, and that's where he takes his last breath. Prison Content Channel, Chad, why are you doing this? Well, crime and punishment too. It's a part of my life. Prison, crime, jailhouse lawyering. That's why we're talking about it. We're talking about it because this 13-year-old kid, at the age of 13 years old, is sentenced to 9 to life. Kills this little boy, sexually assaults him, sodomizes him somehow. Absolutely horrible, horrific. Gets sentenced to 9 to life. He's probably thinking in his mind, as a little boy, 9 years is forever. And he probably thinks he's going to get to go home in 9 years, right? No, it's not how it works. 9 to life in New York State, he goes to parole every 2 years. After the 9 years, he gets to go to parole, and parole says, nope, I'm going to hit you with 2 more years. Bang! They slam the gavel, send him back to the prison cell. Come back in 2 years and tell us your story. Comes back in 2 years, bang, they hit him again. 2 more years. New York State Parole can hit you with 2 years, and you just keep going. He's got 9 to life. Eric Smith could possibly spend the rest of his life in prison. And I'm sure there's some people watching this video that are going to say, he's a scumbag. He deserves to die in prison. But hold on. Let's talk about it. Does he deserve to die in prison? You know, I used to see articles in our paper when I was in prison about him every time he got denied parole. And I'd say the same thing. They ain't never letting that dude out. But then the other day, I'm looking at my phone and something comes across there on the news. Eric Smith granted parole after 27 years. Yeah. Eric Smith granted parole after 27 years. So Eric Smith spent 27 years of his life in prison. His best years. Gave up his whole life because he made a decision at the age of 13 that you would think, who the hell makes these decisions, right? And when I was doing the research on this case, in order to do this video, I thought about it. I said, man, back when I was a kid, they weren't shooting up schools. You know, nothing like that ever happened. Not that I remember. I don't remember seeing that on the news when I was just a kid. And, you know, a lot of them kids that shoot up schools, what do they say? I was being bullied. I lashed out. I was tired of being taken advantage of. And you know what? That's Eric Smith's story. Says he's tired. He got tired of being taken advantage of. Like I said, the kid looks like Dennis the Menace, right? Red hair, freckles, glasses, socially awkward. And they're picking on him. They're making fun of this kid. He's not, they're making fun of him. And he's getting angry. He's tired of being a loner, probably. Other kids don't want to hang out with him because of his appearance. But make no excuses. Doesn't give him a license or a pass to lash out at a 4-year-old or to lash out at anybody, right? In my world, 13-year-olds didn't kill 4-year-olds. In my world, 13-year-old boys didn't sexually assault 4-year-old boys after they kill them. And, you know, I can only imagine what the parents felt like. Little Derek Robbie's parents and felt like at the time. What do they feel like now? They have to relive this stuff, right? And really my question today is, what do you think about Eric Smith? Do you think Eric Smith deserved to get out of prison? He spent 27 years of his life in prison. And you guys have heard me comment that I believe, you know, in the death penalty for people that rape and kill kids. People that rape and kill kids, yeah. And when I made that statement, I think I meant adults that rape and kill kids. I believe that there has to be punishment. There has to be consequences for actions. But I'm also a firm believer in rehabilitation. I'm a firm believer that, you know, people can change their lives. But how do you weigh that when you got someone that kills a 4-year-old kid? Because inside you're angry. Inside, even if you don't know these people, you want to lash out. You want to say, hell no. That dude don't deserve to get out of prison. I want to know what you think. You know, like I said, you know, about kids back then, they didn't shoot up schools, but when they were bullied, but this kid said that he did what he did. It was the way that he acted out. That now he could finally be in control. Now he was pulling the levers. He found someone that he could beat up on, someone that he could be the boss of. Sadly, he was tired of other people bullying him. You know, when you look at him through the years, look at the stages. And my question is, what did Eric Smith do while he was in prison, right? What did he do to change his life? Is he rehabilitated? Is he a threat to public safety? And you know, as a society, we sometimes want blood all the time. You know, this has been going on since the old days, since the Roman gladiator pits, right? They put people in there with lions. They put people in there to kill each other, you know, with swords and all kinds of medieval weapons. And people would cheer, ah! And the same thing happened when I was convicted in federal court and sentenced to 40 years. The prosecutor and all his cronies came in and they were like, yeah! They were happy that my mother was sitting there crying that I was going to prison for the rest of my life, pretty much. Is that the right approach? We love UFC, we love boxing, we love, you know, what should we call that? Controlled violence? Football, controlled violence. We like when people get hit, boom, coming down the sideline with the ball. And then it's on ESPN the next day and we're like, oh, this kid lashed out with violence. He did things that he shouldn't have done. Things that I would never approve of. Things that to this day, you know, even as an adult and a soon-to-be father, I can't understand it. I can't comprehend it. And you might want my opinion because I'm asking for yours. Do I think that Eric Smith should get out of prison? He killed a little boy. Took his life. He destroyed parents. You know, their life will never be the same. But what did he do to his parents too? Probably destroyed them. 40 years old now, getting out, coming back into society. I think he's getting ready to turn 41, right? Where's he going to go? Where's he going to live? I'm sure he has to register as a sex offender, right? Can't live around schools, can't live in certain neighborhoods. What is he going to do? Seen an article a while ago about dudes that were getting out of prison that were sex offenders. Chomos getting out and they had to go live under bridges because they had nowhere to go. So you want my opinion. Do I think Eric Smith deserves to get out of prison? I don't know how to answer it because I am a believer in rehabilitation. I also think it's a sad, sad day when this little redhead kid walks out in the woods and kills a 4-year-old. What about the family? How do you justify releasing this kid? How do you justify letting this dude out of prison? How do you justify that to the families? And on the flip side, if I'm a believer in criminal justice reform and rehabilitation, how do I justify saying that Eric Smith should die in prison? My opinion is, I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted because this is a horrendous crime. And then you want to go back and you want to think, yeah, but Chad, he was only 13. He made a really bad choice. His brain wasn't fully developed. And we all know about the cases in the Supreme Court where they talked about, you know, boys' brains not being fully developed until they're 21, 24. And you want to say, hey, maybe the Eric Smith of today would have never made that decision. And I've watched some of his interviews. I watched some of his videos. And he says that stuff. He shows regret. He shows remorse. But is it for show? Those of you that have been in prison, and you know, we're not supposed to judge, right? Because we didn't want to be judged either, but it's the profile, man. The kid fits the profile. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. He does fit the profile. Even in his interviews, he fits the profile. I can only hope for his sake, his family's sake, for the sake of the community, that he has a successful reentry, that he doesn't victimize anybody, that he doesn't lash out, that he doesn't say, you know what, I can't make it out here. I can't make it in society after 27 years of being in prison. He lost the best years of his life. What were your best years, man? Think about it. Was it when you were 13, 14, 15 years old? You were out playing baseball, you were out throwing a football, riding your bike. Those were probably the best years of your life. This kid never graduated from high school. Instead, he'd sit in a detention center and play Dig Dug on the computer for years. And then he'd go to a man's prison. He was in Clinton, Denimora. Some of you might know about that prison where them dudes escaped. I can tell you, man, I don't think his time was that good. You would think he was probably trying to hide. Where did they put this kid? Did they make him an orderly? Did he spend 27 years of his life in protective custody when he was in maximum security prisons? Because he's definitely not safe. You know, anyone that sexually assaults kids or rapes women, even adults that rape women. In New York State prison, it's nothing nice. I've been there. I did time there. New York State prison is a dangerous place. It can be very dangerous for sex offenders. So what did he do? Was he locked in a cell all them years? Is it going to affect how he thinks? Like I said, man, I hope for society's benefit that this kid really changed his life. I hope that he's really rehabilitated. I hope that he really took programs that are going to change his mindset, change his character, change his way of thinking. I don't want to see him reoffend. And honestly, I don't want to see him fail either. Angry about the crime that he committed, disgusted by the crime that he committed. But if he fails, we fail. If he fails, society fails. If he fails, it might be someone else burying their son. It's real, man. It's raw. We talk about stuff like this on this channel because this is what's really going on. This ain't no made up stuff. This ain't no made up shit. This is real. Unfortunately, it's real, but it's disturbing. But these are the things that we have to talk about. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I want you to think about how a bad decision, if you're 13 years old and you're watching this video, I'm not saying that you're going to be a killer. I'm not saying that you're going to commit a bad crime like this kid. You might be committing a different crime when you're 14 or 15 or 16 or even when you're 13. And that crime could forever change your life. You could sit in prison for the next 27 years for selling dope. You could be going out on a robbery with one of your homeboys at 14 or 15 years old. And your homeboy shoots the people. He kills them. He's 17, you're 15. You're in New York State. You might be going to prison just like Eric Smith for the next 27 years. That's what the channel's about. It's about being accountable. It's about making rational and responsible choices so that you don't go down that path, so that you don't spend the rest of your life in prison, so that you don't miss the best years of your life. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. With respect, we're out. Until tomorrow.